What is going on, everybody? I am Machiavelli37, and this is a very abnormal video, if you couldn't tell, but I have been obsessed over this series called The Cabin Tales, which I will go ahead and link in the description. Should be the top thing. You can watch it on YouTube or anywhere that you get podcasts or anything, but if you haven't heard about it, I will describe it very quickly. It is 9 stories, technically 10, but the 10th one is... I won't go into that too much, but 9 stories that are all completely separated from each other in just these little 10 to 12 minute, for the most part, bite-sized stories that are incredibly well voice acted and all a bit spooky. And if you don't know that about me, I love all things horror. So I've been very excited for this to come out. The co-producer, co-creator, I don't know exactly the right terminology on it, actually made the Mandela Catalog, Alex Kister, and I love the Mandela Catalog. I have a shirt of the Bythorn Paranormal Society and everything like that. But I'm getting off track. Cabin Tales is incredible. I enjoyed literally everything about it. It was so much fun. I was listening to it from start to finish today. I wanted to get just the whole brunt of it all in one go. And I thought that it'd be fun to talk about it to the void, aka to all of you. So definitely join me with this. Let me know your rankings on everything. But I'm going to be ranking the episodes from the ones that I liked the least, quote unquote, to the most. And the ones that I like the least are still very, very good. It's more just a perspective of horror and how you enjoy horror. And for me, some of them didn't strike a chord as much as other ones did. So let's go ahead, jump in. The 9th one at the bottom of the list, but still very good, mind you, I'm going to say is Cry Wolf. Now, this episode was very good. I'm going to kind of briefly describe the stories without giving away anything. This one was about a corn maze and a group of kids going for like a Halloween trick-or-treating corn maze kind of thing. And some frightening things happen within that maze. And I really liked it. I definitely, like I said, I liked all of them. The voice acting and everything about it. The story building is so good in all 9 of these. But for me, personally, it felt quick. Like, it felt like it was 2 minutes long somehow. And it was just like, here's your characters, problem, done. Which, hey, it was a cool problem. It was a fun problem, but it was very fast for me, and that's why it'll be at number 9. Like I said, still very good, but just not precisely my cup of tea. Now, the 8th one on the list, which will be just above that, is going to be episode 2, I See the Dead. This one was about a cop who was at a diner going in like a small town night shift kind of deal, and he sees some people. Whether or not they're dead or not is up for you to find out, but this one was really good. Once again, it was kind of just quick. Like, you almost immediately knew, for me at least, what was happening, like, as soon as it started. But it was good. It was definitely good. I liked the building of it. The city felt very, like, familiar to me, because I grew up in a small city kind of deal. But definitely enjoyable, but number 8 for me. Now we're going to jump into number 7, which is Sea Siren. And that is episode 8, which that one was about this girl who wakes up alone on a cruise ship in the middle of her cruise, and she's looking around trying to find pretty much anybody, ends up finding one other person, and they're trying to figure out why they are suddenly on an abandoned cruise ship, and silly things ensue. This one, once again, felt kind of quick, and I'm not going to say it didn't feel like there wasn't a problem, because obviously waking up alone on a cruise ship could be fucking terrifying to some people, but I'm not a big cruise guy as it is, so I have no idea how frightening that could truly be, but from perspective, it was definitely, like, enjoyable, but it was another one that fell a little flat for me personally, but once again, still good. So let's go ahead and jump into number 6, which is going to be the first episode, Happy Anniversary. This episode was, I guess, is episode's the right word? This story, this tale, whatever you want to call it. This episode, is what I'll call it, is about a guy who is basically, I would assume, writing in a journal, or at least speaking out about his anniversary with a woman, and all the plans that he had for her, and everything that he's going to do, and kind of like one thing that I like about these stories is that there's no visuals, so if anything is ever something that you would need to see, they kind of verbally explain it as almost like an inner monologue kind of thing. And then that helps you get a bigger picture painted and everything. And this one was I mean, it's the first episode, but the voice acting on this one specifically immediately already like grabbed me really hard, and I was like, oh, this is going to be a fun little series. But definitely a great way to start it. I liked it a lot. It just was another one where, to me, it kind of personally felt like I already knew where it was going before it like really got into where it was going. So let's go ahead and get into number 5. We are breaking the halfway point right here, and that is going to be episode 3, which was Operator 9. Now, this one really started to build the suspense and kind of the nervousness within these stories for me. I really, really like this one. This one is about a girl who is kind of wakes up and goes into a payphone to try to figure out where she is, how she got there, how to get back home. She's just not even really sure where home is, and it's interesting because it takes a lot of turns that personally I wouldn't have expected in a story like that, but it is very, very well done. Once again, the voice acting, which I'll say for pretty much almost all of these, is so good, but it's very suspenseful. Like, listening to this one, this is one of the ones where I kind of had to like almost stop what I was doing and like just absorb it, because I'm like, oh, we're getting into the thick of it with this right now. And definitely, like I said, I think from here up, personally, is where things ramped up dramatically. Like, these were fun stories. I liked these bottom 4 stories, but these top 5 definitely were like the, oh shit, this is like making me feel uneasy kind of thing. So let's go ahead, get to the next one, number 4, which is ironically going to be episode 4, A Toy for My Game. Now, this one is about a guy who is kind of like a loner, going into school, doesn't really have a lot of friends or anything, and they end up talking to this one guy who's typical, like, jock, piece of garbage fella, and then suddenly, he wakes up dead, and they're trying to figure out why. You figure out before the characters do what had happened, and there is a entity of sorts that I won't say too much about this entity, but they're freaky. And I really liked the plot in this one. This one was pretty creative to me because they set up a situation that I haven't seen very often that basically is like life or death situation. And it is really creative. This one definitely, I like this one quite a bit. And it really grabbed my attention just as well as Operator 9 and the last 3 on this list definitely did. So let's go ahead into the next one. Number 3, we're getting into the top 3. The bronze medal is going to be Sell Your Soul, episode 5. This one, I really, really enjoyed the storytelling of it. It felt not relatable because I don't do what the guy in the story does. Oh, sorry, brief description of the story is this guy is like a stockbroker, or trying to become a stockbroker, trying to figure out how to trade stocks and basically make that be his job. And he finds something on the internet that can help him do that. And that thing on the internet is not too great. And the storytelling in this one just felt so natural and so like relatable, which I will say with all of these, there definitely is that. Like, actually, just a quick point out in this one here, Sea Siren, that one actually, the conversations felt so natural to where, like, if I would have heard that conversation outside in, like, real life, it just would feel so normal. I just spit everywhere, pardon me. Which I guess is another testament to the voice acting, that it was just very, very well done, and everything just feels like real human conversations, not like a, what's that type of horror. So, super big commendations to everybody who made this, all the voice actors, all the people who directed it and everything again. And so yeah, so number 3, Sell Your Soul. The stockbroker runs into some problems that ain't about money. So now, number 2, the silver medal is going to be the technical last episode, which is The Chosen One. I forgot the name of it. I had to sit there and look at it for a second. The Chosen One is about a girl who works at a psychiatrist's office, and she's working with some mental patients. It starts off really strong, and then doesn't like hit you with the fake out, but obviously nobody that this woman works with is mentally sane to begin with, so you're kind of almost trying to figure out what the problem in the story is going to be before you really see what the problem is. And this one just ramped up to 11. It had you by the balls in the beginning and did not let go and only squeezed harder. And I just loved this one. The voice acting, once again, I know I've said it 1,000 times, but the voice acting for one of the patients was off the charts to me. Like, it felt so believable that this dude was losing his damn mind. And I really, really enjoyed this one. And that having that be basically the send-off up until the little epilogue episode felt so good. It just definitely rounded off the whole series really, really well. But it's not number one. And number one for me is episode 6, Storm Warning. This one was insane to me. I don't know why it gripped me so well. I listened to all 9 episodes in one sitting. And so I went straight from front to back on it. I wanted to get the whole Cabin Tales experience in one go. And I made sure to point out this one's Storm Warning so I could go back immediately after I was done listening to it and listen to it again. This one is about literally just a girl who gets in a car and she's listening to the radio, and the whole story is told through the radio with a slight overarching story detailing the girl herself in the car. But something about just the way it was all written, of having just different radio recordings, broadcastings, all tell you what's happening in the story, was so cool. And the plot of what happens through the car ride and what is told to you through these radio broadcasts is insane to me. Just something about it. I could paint the picture clearer on this story than any of the other ones, and yet is one of the most, like, far-fetched ones. But it just, I could see it all. I could feel all of the emotions that everybody had in this story, and there certainly is a storm to be warned and concerned about with this story. But that is just about it, really. Just kind of a little rambly video. I wanted to talk about Cabin Tales. Once again, look them up. They are going to be the first thing in the description, or you can look up Cabin Tales on YouTube or anywhere that you get podcasts. I loved all 9 of these stories. Like I said, the last one doesn't mean that it's the worst because it's bad. It just didn't grip me the same way that the other ones did. They're all fantastic. Definitely check it out. Give props to all of them. And that's going to be about it for me. So hopefully you enjoyed this very off-kilter video for me. Also, go ahead and tell me. Come back to this video when you're done listening to Cabin Tales and tell me which ones that you like the most. But like, comment, subscribe, all that lame stuff. Stay positive, stay hydrated, and I'll catch you all in the next one.